Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some pretty big and pretty significant news to talk about coming out of the LEC. Now, it's not necessarily the biggest or most popular team or anything like that. It's not exactly the biggest or most popular players or anything like that, at least depending on who you ask. But I do think that this is a very, very significant update and very, very significant news for a couple of reasons. One, I think overall it'll be a smart decision. It will be a good decision, and I don't think that's going to be like too controversial or anything. I think the decision will be pretty well received by fans. But also, the bigger piece of this is that it's the first big move of the off season, whatever you want to call the little time period between spring and summer for both the LEC and the LCS. At least I believe this is the first big move that one of the major LEC and LCS teams is making. And that gets me really, really excited. That does mean we can start expecting a lot more stuff coming soon. Obviously, the LEC regular season has already wrapped up. 4 teams have already not made the playoffs. 4 teams' spring splits are now over. LCS still has a couple of weeks, which is kind of weird how it's so kind of disjointed, but hey, those LEC teams, they get a head start. They get a chance to already begin that mini offseason period. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this. Here is the big news. Hey, I forgot to pull up the right thing. Hold on. Let me get you guys. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing again. Let me get actually to Twitter here. And then we can see this. Astralis League of Legends at Astralis LOL tweeted out, the end of this LEC spring split also means the end of 1.5 years of collaboration. Today we part ways with White Knight and Promiscu. Now, obviously, this has been an ongoing meme the whole season of like, oh, is Promiscu still in the LEC? How is Astralis still hanging on to Promiscu? We know a couple weeks ago they even put out the post that was like an update to League of Legends or whatever, and it started out with like, we want to start this off by saying Promiscu is still on our League of Legends team, and now all the memes are coming out like, we want to start this off by saying Promiscu is no longer on our League of Legends team. I don't know. Super, super weird. I think the White Knight move maybe surprised people a little bit more. To me, it's not shocking. I wasn't as expecting it. I honestly wasn't really even expecting them to move on from Promiscu either, because I don't think this makes a ton of sense in between spring and summer. Like, hey, I think especially the Promiscu move, White Knight had a decent season last year, actually. Now, he did not have a great spring split. He did not impress me that much. I don't really think people think he stood out that much. I think he was probably like a bottom 3 or 4 top laner in the LEC so far in 2022. But last season, he had some decent games. But at least for Promiscu, going from 2021 to 2022, you chose to bring him back if you're Astralis. You kind of knew what you were getting into. So did you expect something different in spring? Is this not what you thought was going to happen? Did you guys not think that you compiled a last place roster? Did you not think that Promiscu was going to be one of the weakest, if not the weakest supports in the LEC? That's the only reason I'm confused by this. I think a lot of people would have just rather had something happen in the actual offseason so they could have been developing a new young player or at least trying somebody new out for the future when we already saw 2 splits of what Promiscu looks like on Astralis. Again, I understand why they would have given White Knight maybe 1 split or whatever, but now I'm not so shocked to see them moving on from him either. But like I said, this does mean, one, yes, the end of an era. Promiscu, the GOAT, the MSI champion, whatever. He is now out of the LEC. I don't know if or when he will get another shot at anything. I know he did tweet out that like, hey, he's taking a break or something. Maybe not from League of Legends, but he said, hey, I'm gonna let this settle for a bit and distance myself from it all and catch up with y'all sometime soon. I don't know what that exactly means. Obviously, Wonder tweets out bronze GMs don't know what they're losing 1v9 so many games this split, which is super, super funny. Will Promiscu end up back in the LEC soon? I doubt it. I don't think we're going to see him in LEC in the summer. That would shock me a lot. But I wouldn't be surprised if he lands, some decent ERL jobs, because I'm sure he can still get the job done there. And I'm sure he would also be a guy that can probably teach a lot of stuff to a lot of young players. But who knows if he's going to take time off? Who knows if he's going to take a break? Who knows if a team will even, pick him up? But there's so many ERL teams out there. There's so many options. You got to assume he's going to land somewhere. And same thing with White Knight. Now, the only thing with these 2 players, and I'm not a huge, age Andy in esports or anything anything like that. But man, for an Astralis team that is, hey, let's look at the standings. They just finished 3-15. They were really, really bad. They're one of the worst teams. They're the worst team in the LEC, at least by record. So they're not good right now. They need to be developing more for the future. And Promise Q is 27 years old, and White Knight is 26. And like I said, I think at 27 and 26, you can still play very, very high level League of Legends. But I do have questions of how much you're developing at that point in your career, at that age. So I don't think these two players make a ton of sense for Astralis. And I think there's questions if both of them are even LEC level anyways, let alone on a team that needs to be developing or getting better for the future. So again, I'm not totally shocked to see this stuff. I know here it says like you can click, read more, and you can click on this and go to the Astralis website, and there's like not much more information. There's like 2 extra sentences of information. So we had to click on their website to just really see nothing. So overall, I think pretty bad announcement or whatever by Astralis. I don't know, kind of Astralis level content, I guess. I guess you kind of get what you expect from an organization like this at this point. I don't know. Astralis is super, super weird because they just want to be a cheap organization. Like look at this roster they put together this year. Like I said, did they not think that they were going to be a last place in the LEC team? Like White Knight, Zanzara, Dehor, Promise Q, and Kabe? Like, I don't know. So it's not surprising to me that you'd be making roster moves. I think roster moves are good. I think they're going to be welcomed by the community, but who else are they going to go get? Are they going to go get anybody better? Are they going to go get anybody more interesting? Are they going to go get anybody more exciting? Or is it just going to be, some more random ERL players or something like that? Because that's the other question is like, one, who are they willing to go spend money to get? Which it doesn't seem like much. It seems like they're trying to spend as little money as possible and just sitting on their LEC slot. And two, who wants to join Astralis? Now, there is a ton of people saying out there, well, hey, players are going to want to join any LEC team, and, they'd rather, be on an LEC team than not. But we've seen that time and time again. That's not necessarily true. Just this past offseason, Cabochard rejected LEC offers to stay with K-Corp. We know that last season, I think it was, Marcoon and Advian had at least hesitations about joining Excel, and they were, potentially going to be fine with staying in Academy as well. They're, players are becoming more mindful of this, that staying in the ERLs can sometimes be beneficial for your career over joining just a bad organization in Astralis and kind of tanking your future and tanking your career. So we will see what happens there. I did want to go over some of the options for what Astralis is looking at now. I know that this is Broik Seeger, this is Wooloo, and Alejandro actually came up with a list. They talked to a bunch of coaches and people on teams and everything, and they came up with some of the top prospects in the ERLs right now. So some of the top support options are actually Rux. They have as number 1. This is the Fnatic TQ support. We have Erdote or Erdote. I don't know how you say that, but he is the support for BDS Academy. And then you obviously have Vander with Misfits Premier as well. Maybe these will be some of the options we'll get to see for Astralis in the support position for next split. And then also for the different top lane options, we obviously have Cabochard, who I don't think is going to happen. Obviously, he is with K-Corp right now. We have Oscarinen, who is the Fnatic TQ top laner, I do believe. And I don't know if he'll be an option either. It seems like he's going to be very, very highly sought after. And he's a guy who I don't know if he'd necessarily be interested in joining Astralis, but maybe it's a guy they'll reach out to. And then Segenda, obviously some other big options being Irrelevant, Aggressivu, Ragnar, and Sacre. I don't know what Astralis is going to do. It's going to depend who's interested in coming to them, how much money they're interested in spending. Also, just super, super weird that, hey, this was the organization that, had their hands on Magic Felix and then ends up letting him go. So I don't know. Again, the end of an era, the GOAT, Promise Q, MSI champion, he is now officially out of the LEC, and White Knight is out along with him. Again, Astralis, not the most exciting team, not the biggest moves in the world, not that crazy. Whoever they bring in, probably also not going to be that exciting, probably not going to be that big, probably not going to be that crazy. But what we do know is this means that the LEC offseason has now officially started, and hey, I can't wait for what exciting moves are coming next, because we did have this from Wooloo saying, hey, Astralis is parting ways with White Knight and Promise Q, but he also says interesting offseason opener, which means there is definitely more to come. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those videos. Definitely drop a like if you guys enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this news from Astralis. Good move, bad move, surprising, not surprising, and who should they get for their new players? I'd love to hear guys' thoughts and opinions. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.